So how's it going, Miguel?
Hi, Majid. Hey, all fine. And you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. I'm actually excited for today because um, I am, in many applications, your package is going to be one of those that can be very helpful, and it can save up a lot of time. And in many applications, like loading file, uploading, and stuff like it's very common, right?
Yeah,
So it's
it's
very exciting to have you on this show today and tell me about your package, how we can implement it together, and everything around it, tips, tricks, All
yeah.
right. So,
Thank you.
Miguel, just before that, let's introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. In first place, I would like to thank you for the invitation. It's really good for me to also present you with this package and also the community that probably already uh, have used. I don't know, but since it's a handy package, uh, most people sometimes will probably need to pick a file or pick something in their applications, and that's when they probably come across file picker. So basically, to introduce myself a little bit, I'm a software developer here in Portugal. I started with Flutter in the early days, in the alpha stage, if I recall. And since then, I've probably used Flutter in most of my projects, both personal or for the company where I work. And uh, aside that, my main focus is on mobile applications, being it Flutter or just the native ones. But since my graduation in computer engineering, I've been a mobile developer ever since.
Great to have you here, Miguel, once more. I have a question. Can you explain a little bit more about this package? And also, I know that you have several other packages. Maybe you can quickly touch on them.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I'm not one of those guys that create a lot of packages. I would like to have more time to do it. Sometimes the package appears because we need some requirement or a use case in our applications that need something that by the time the package is created isn't available. So that happened actually with my packages. Well, I'd say that file picker one was the most evident case of that. But I have another packages. I have other packages such as country codes and other minor. I would call it minor packages because are more like icon packages. Uh, I'll probably have to check my Thank you for showing because from mind I'm not recalling all of them, but file picker and country codes are the two most maintained packages. The PDF previewer was one utils package that I've created before, but it's not actually maintained right now. The MI5 Flutter was just because I needed some icons and extracted for a package, but those less known packages are not much maintained as file picker and country codes. Country codes, just to talk a little bit about those two. The country codes is a package that allows you to seamless use the dial codes from each country, be it on a form field or anywhere else, because I needed a package that allowed it without having those little nuances that we sometimes see, like the flags and so on. And I needed raw information like the country code, the alpha code, the deal code, the localized code. And I created this package just to provide this kind of data for developers to use on their apps.
Can you explain, the file picker? What are the features that makes this package outstanding? As well as tell me, because I've seen that you're also supporting all platforms, which is so exciting. Tell me about the platform support as well as the features of the package.
Sure, Magic. Actually, the file picker, appeared in the early days with a little support. If I remember, I just created the file picker because I needed a PDF picker at the beginning for an application, and there was by the time a document picker that I found in the packages, but was too limited. So if I needed to pick something else, another kind of file, or I don't know, maybe use the package in another applications for something else. Um, well, that package that I found by the time was a little had a little features. So that's when I decided to make file picker. I thought, well, there's nothing like that at the moment, so why not? Let's make it more robust and create something that the community can use. And that's when I started to cut the package or create the package uh, with a good API, something that the developers can use in their applications. And by as the time by the time that the package was created, it only had a few features. Like I remember, you could pick all kind of files, or I don't know. By the early times that I created the package, you could pick. You could add some filters to some kind of file types. I would have to go to the changelog to remember exactly what was the features by the time, but since it started to gain some traction and the community started to use and the feature requests started to appear, I feel forced to make it more reliable for everyone. And that's when it started that's when I started to be aware of how much the people were using file picker and how good it could be to help the community with this kind of utils package, I would say. So the package itself allows the users to introduce a native picker. I call it a native picker because I try to follow as much as possible the native guidelines without flavoring too much the picker, or flavoring or not flavoring at all. So which means that if you want to create a native flavored application, the file picker suits really well. You will have on Android, on iOS, the native pickers from the platform, and with this also comes the restrictions from their pickers as well, because when you make custom pickers, you can add features. With the native ones, probably some OS versions have some limitations, other allows you to do something more. So that's something that's important to say and to be aware of, because I've been requested multiple times for some things. I remember like limiting the number of files that can be picked on Android without custom pickers. This is not really easy to do, and there's some caveats on these kind of implementations when using native pickers. But what I'm trying to do is to allow as much as possible, and with good abstractions, to use and allow the native pickers for both for all platforms now. So the users can filter the types that they want. If you want your application to allow only PDF or JPEG or GIF, whatever, you can restrict to those formats. You can restrict to media files. You can restrict to audio files, to photos. These kind of filters is what the file picker allows you to do. And aside that, you can also pick the directories, which was one of the requested features that came along the development of the file picker. And also because the picker right now, and because of the platform's limitations on iOS and Android, you have files most of the times need to be cached when picking, because Android, since SDK 30, doesn't allow you to refer to the original path. I mean, they allow you, but you'll have to use the URI the native URIs, and you can manipulate directly the files on the Dart side. So that means that you either copy cache the files, or you have to manipulate directly through a platform channel, or use native development for that. It's these little nuances that make sometimes the maintenance and the file picker, I would say, how do I call it, some of the things that are requested sometimes for the file picker are not possible because of these little changes that appear as the OS also
Sure. So then,
evolves.
yeah, Miguel, then it must be somehow hard to catch up with all the changes, like because you're also
Yeah,
supporting several platforms, all the platforms, and then you constantly need to contribute and make PRs. Maybe you can now, that's a good time to tell me how people can come and contribute and help you. So if
yeah,
there is
sure.
any tips, tricks, maybe you can tell us right now.
Yeah, sure. Uh, at the beginning, and because only mobile platforms were supported, only iOS and Android were the platforms allowed for file picker. Then web came out, and with Flutter Web, the feature request immediately appeared, and of course I needed to support it. And if I remember, I had the community helping on this as well by the time, because I wasn't using Flutter Web by the time that it was released. And so the community immediately made a pull request with this kind of changes. Then after a while, I remember that desktop platform was requested as well. Flutter desktop wasn't supported by the time, so there was a thing called the Flutter Go, and it still is available. Uh, which is an abstraction, for those that don't know, it's an abstraction that uses Golang and can run in all desktop platforms, and it's like an abstraction of an abstraction. Instead of having to create each platform, macOS, Windows, Linux, um, each instead of having a single implementation for each platform like you have for iOS and Android, you could use Flutter Go and have just one implementation with which would run through Flutter Go on all platforms. If if I wasn't requested that, the package wouldn't probably have it, but since the some people want this to be added to the plugin, of course, I'm always open to this kind of things. So I added to the file picker as well, and then lately the full desktop support, since right now we have a little more support from the Flutter to the desktop platforms, the Windows, Linux, and macOS. And if I remember, yeah, yesterday I implemented that with the help of another member of the community. I don't really remember his name right now, but it's on the changelog, and it's actually what you are showing right now. Um, and he had it done on its own, like on his own package, and we thought, why not merge both packages instead of having one for desktop, one for mobile and web, and merge the two together so we could have a full support package. And that's what happened actually yesterday. It's using Dart foreign function invocation to launch a new process and actually launch the picker for desktop platforms instead of having the platform channels for all the macOS, Windows, and Linux. But it's working, and right now it's a way to it's better than nothing, I would say. Ideally, we should implement the 3 platform channels, single implementation for each platform instead of using foreign function invocation. But right now I see it as a viable solution because it's better than nothing. And I had some users asking for desktop support. And well, aside, I think the community support, I'm the only maintainer of the package.
Sure.
Right now, I have yesterday I have the other person that made the desktop implementation as also as a contributor to help maintain the package. But it's what it is, and
Okay,
actually,
good.
yeah.
Good. So then I will put the link in the description, as well as I will show it here below. All right, Miguel. Anything else that you want to tell me about your package? Or if not, are you ready for a pair programming session?
No, the only thing that I want to say is that I welcome anyone that wants to contribute to the package. Sometimes there are a lot of features that could be handy for some, and I don't bother adding it to the package, even if it's only for one person or two person. Who knows that if tomorrow it will help someone else. So aside that, I think that there's nothing else. There's not
Sure.
much more to say.
All right. Very good.
We can
So,
jump in. Yeah.
pair programming. What we want to do, I have a famous coffee app. So, and you see it right now in the screen. What I need is I do have a profile page where in that page user can select its picture. But because we want to save some time and show the implementation of the package, instead I will add a button which is going to make it very simple, which is going to just upload file, like let's say file picture. And then later I can implement this to like I can implement I can move this logic to that profile page. Don't worry about this. So let's actually move, let's actually create that right now. Okay, here we go. I have a file picker right now in the screen. What we want to do together is to show me what are the best practices for your package and to implement this. Let's get it started. Tell me. So I actually noticed that we can have multi selector picture and videos, and then for that we need to use another package apparently. Is that correct?
No, actually, File Picker allows you to make multiple picks. It has a flag to enable or disable it because some developers don't want you to pick multiple files and others
I
want.
see.
Yeah, but I would say that the abstraction itself, it's on the it's on a top level, so you don't have to write a lot of code just to pick a file. I'm trying as much as I can do to make the experience for the developer the most how do I say it, the most pleasant, so you don't have
Sure.
to make
Okay,
a lot of
we'll see how
yeah,
pleasant
we'll
it is.
see right
We'll
now. Yeah.
see right now. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get into it actually.
Yeah.
So now I have my button here. So that's typically like that, right? We have some kind of button that has an action, and then it's going to open up like 5 features.
Yeah, this is the most common use case.
I want to actually implement it right now. What should I do right now? The first thing probably I need to add everything to your package to my Puppet YAML file, right? And that's like file picker and version is 4 at the moment, isn't it?
Exactly. So even if you are on web, desktop, you should use the file picker package, only this one. There was a time that I had it split across multiple packages, but I deprecated after a while because I saw that some people, well, I mean, it was harder to maintain multiple packages than one, especially when I'm the owner and the only maintainer mostly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we added the file picker here. So then let's jump to this. Should I directly come to like the widgets that I have and just call your package, or is there any better approach? Like, for example, you tell me create a service or something like that.
I wouldn't say unless you have unless you will go mail a lot of things with the files. Let's say your app relies on media files and you want to manipulate those media files, then I would probably create a service for that or a controller for that. But if you are just picking it to upload it to somewhere else or just for a small task, I wouldn't say to over engineering, and instead of over engineering it, we'll probably create just a method, extract it to a method, or even use an anonymous call like you are doing right now, whatever you prefer.
Okay. So then two approaches. If I have more thing to do with this, and maybe I have layered architectures, then it's better to move it to a service
definitely.
or maybe my application layer. But then if I don't have it, then I can do it right away here, or maybe I can here say upload file or something like that, like a method.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then I create like a method here down there, for example, and then do my logic, for example. Okay, so let's actually do that. That's going to be a void. So what is the class to instantiate? Is it like, do I need to even instantiate, or it's like a static method that I can call?
It's a static method, yeah, because you can have multiple platforms using it, like web, desktop, or IO.
Sure.
IO, I mean iOS or Android. You will need to call the file picker point instance, which is resolved at runtime for each platform, and then the methods come that you have available. There is a lot of documentation on the wiki. I forgot to say, and on that documentation you can actually see which methods are supported by each platform and which don't. So if you go to the exactly to the file picker wiki, you have a link over there. Yeah, you can go over there. You can check the API, the filters available, the parameters, all the methods, and you even have a FAQ or a troubleshooting area. So you can actually go through it and see, okay, I'm going to use, I have these parameters when using file picker, I'm using iOS or I'm using mobile, and you can check if it's supported, what are the default parameters, some usage examples for picking the files, directories.
Okay, so then what I should do now, actually let's do that. Let's just copy. Let me do it again. All right, so let's do that then. So what we should do then is like, let me change this. Okay, so it's like, here is technically what I should do, right?
Exactly.
So then let me also import it. Or maybe it should be fine now. What is the error here? Okay.
It's nullable.
Nullable.
So actually, if you cancel the picker, it's important to say that when you cancel the picker, it will return null. It's a way to know if the picker was actually canceled or not, because the user might cancel the picker and doesn't ping anything at all. So this is the way for you to check and if the user cancel the picker or not. So I would say that after this, you should actually check for the nullable. If the result different null, then we have something. Otherwise, we don't, and the user.
Okay, so then I always have to check here, like if it's not null, and then do something or other, like the other way around.
Yeah, and if you want to prompt the user with some toast or some message because he canceled it, you can do it.
Yeah, sure, whatever, like any logic here, for example.
Yeah.
So then here I have a question here. So then what we do is actually like a feature. So we call platform and then we call pick files, which is going to resolve on runtime which platform is, and then it pick it up automatically, whether it is iOS, Android, web, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So And the type here, this parameter that I pass, and that's probably
Mm-hmm.
I have several different types, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
then of course one of them is any. Is there any other
Yeah.
parameter here which is, yeah, I see actually a
Yeah.
couple of them.
Yeah.
So can you
So
explain like,
sure, sure.
first of all of these parameters are optional, or like, can I just even remove type, for example?
Yeah, are all optional. Yeah.
Okay.
It defaults to type any, which you have right now. So even if you if the API is described on the weekend and on the method itself, if you hover through the peak files,
So we have these parameters on peak files,
yeah,
as you said.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and you have also the docs for it right there. But I can explain very quickly what each parameter does. So basically, the dialog title, it's a new parameter that allows you to specify the title for desktop implementations when you launch the picker on the desktop platform. So you want to change the title of that model dialog that appears. The allowed extensions, it's what will act as a white mask for the extensions that you want to allow your user to pick when picking the files. So since we are using the native pickers, what will happen is that some of the, let's say you allow just only JPEG and PDF, some the other formats will probably be grayed out or even not show at all, depending on the platform or even the platform version. I don't remember if some Android versions actually hide the other file
Okay.
types that are not allowed.
Okay.
The on-file loading, it's just a callback that shows you the status of the file because some files are on the cloud. If you pick something from a cloud, for example, it will be a time that it's going to be downloaded, and you can have the
Uh-huh.
status if the file is being.
So it shows like this, that like I can actually check the progress, right? Like 1%, 2%,
Uh, it,
10%, for example. I can implement like,
the progress. The progress is one of the requested features. Actually, it's not yet available as of now. You only have
uh-huh,
if it's peaking or if it's done. Okay, it's only the
uh-huh.
status, not the
So the
progress.
status is like only, okay, it's here. Let's actually check. It's actually 2. Okay, done. And
Yeah, if I remember.
okay.
Yeah, peaking or done. Yeah.
All
Then you
right.
have the low compression, which is available on iOS, because when you are picking using the native pickers on iOS, there's actually by default, if I remember, it compresses the pictures or the videos, and if you allow the compression, it will be compressed. Otherwise, you will use the original format without compression. The format, I mean, the file
What's the
without
use
compression.
case? Why would you like? I'm asking a dumb question here. Why would you have the compression then on iOS? Like, why don't you get the raw file and upload it, for example,
Well,
in some?
this was, if I remember, this was one of the asked features by someone, because by default the OS compresses. I don't know if, for example, if you use WhatsApp and upload a video, you will see a compression
Aha,
bar. Okay, and I think this is the default behavior for the platform for the peak when
I
picking
see.
media files, and some users don't want it, and it was
Yeah, I'm just asking because
uh,
maybe not everyone is familiar with all platforms. Then it's good to
yeah,
know. That's
sure,
why
sure.
I'm asking. Maybe it's a question from one of our
Yeah,
audience
that's
as
good to
well.
ask. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
One more question then. For example, if you have, because you mentioned, like, for example, dialect title is just working on desktop. So then, if I just like go back to my code, and hey, see here like dialect title, and perhaps it's just in a string, and say like something, and
Yeah,
then here on desktop I will see, but then what will happen in iOS and Android and web is just you ignore it, right?
yeah, yeah. Ignored at all. Yeah,
Okay.
it's described on the API that it will only be considered for desktop.
Yeah, sure.
This is one of those
It's-
caveats that you have when implementing for a seamless experience abstraction for all platforms.
yeah, 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 that's okay. Allow multiple, for sure. You mentioned that it's because of selecting several files with data and with read stream. So maybe these are more advanced use case. Can you just explain?
Yeah, sure. With data, it's enabled by default on web, and it's disabled on the other platforms. So actually, with data, it's when you have the bytes already available, so the file is loaded into memory immediately after picking. You don't want to do that, and I don't recommend you to do that on mobile platforms such as Android and iOS if you are not sure about what you're doing. Because if you set with data to true and pick large files, those files will be actually immediately loaded into memory. So you'll have instead of having just a reference for the path of the cached file or the file, which mostly be cached, a cached file, you'll have as well the bytes loaded and available. The file data is loaded into the memory. So this is on the platform file, which is the class that wraps all the information about the file. We will go. We'll check it in a moment. And the other one with the read stream is when you want to read the file in chunks of data. For example, to upload a multi-part file, okay, on web, for example, or to a server or whatever. Yeah, this allows you to just pass a reference or a stream of data, not a reference actually, and it's loaded into chunks of data, which provides a
Aha.
more light approach for this use case. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Then we know everything right now. That's very cool. Thanks for explanation. So let's move on and let's have this example. Right now, I
Thank you.
actually implemented this upload, right? So
Yeah.
what I should do, I just need to load my application and maybe just click on that, or maybe I should reload.
Yeah, you probably will have to rebuild it because you only added the file picker after it was
Aha,
running, if I
like
remember.
stop, like I should stop completely and
Yeah,
start again.
yeah, just
Hey, let's
because
do
it
that.
relies on platform channels to
Okay. So
enable the
then,
pickers.
is there any other function on platform that I can use except like pick
Yeah,
file? Actually, I've seen there is one more apparently. Where is
two more
here?
actually. You have the pick the directory path, and you have the clear temporary
Aha.
files. So the clear temporary files here is only for those that actually want to force a clear of the temporary data that is cached. Uh, but it's not required. Your device will probably get rid or push that kind of data when it needs to. But of course, if you want to actually pick a file or pick multiple files and then clear the data because you're done with those, you can invoke the clear temporary files. The get directory path, it's if you want to pick directories instead of files. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's a very common use case, more than I expected actually.
I see. Is that like I get a directory and then it will select all the file inside, or it's just the directory
Now
path? That's it.
just a ref directory, yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
you can
cool. Is that
actually
working on
instantiate
the web?
the directory. I'll have to check the API, but probably yes. No, 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 actually
Okay.
not. No, 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 it's not working because
I
web doesn't allow paths. Yeah, sure, not
Yeah,
working.
exactly. So I was a little bit.
No,
But
it's working on
in that
desktop.
case, what do you do? Then in that case, what do you do? Like, let's say I use get directory path right now in my application. Let's go and use it actually.
It will throw an
Uh,
exception because it's not implemented for that platform.
okay, and that's okay. So then if I say here get, okay, let me just remove everything. Get directory path. then
Mm-hmm.
if I go to web, then my
Mm-hmm.
app will crash in this line.
Yeah, and it's because the it will throw an exception saying that it's not supported because it is implemented on the web, that method. Yeah,
Okay. So do
that's why
you
it's very
then
important to read
recommend,
the
for
API.
example, yeah, sure. But then, API is in the wiki. That's why you are here.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And
So,
I remember that some people actually open sometimes some issues regarding this question precisely because their web application was throwing an exception when they were trying to get the directory, so which is
sure.
normal because aren't supported.
I have a question here. So, I'm not sure if you want to actually improve this a bit later or maybe have something else. But then, question here is that safe that I say it's better to always wrap your kind of um, method or functionalities into a try
Yeah,
catch like this,
yeah,
because then at least I can avoid if I mistakenly like let's say
sure.
today we are needing directory for Android and iOS, and then tomorrow well, I don't know what I have implemented, but I know
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
directory, and
definitely.
then we go for web, and then it just crashed. Boom.
Definitely, yeah. Just as always, good practice when you are dealing with platform invocations is to wrap or catch the exceptions. You might don't need to actually try catch. You may want to catch to invoke the catch error, but it's the same. More or less, it will result on the same. So yes, I would say that always wrap this kind of invocations on a try catch so you can take advantage of this, or if you can use a flag like if the very common flag k is web flag.
Okay, so you mean that then I can actually like to use something like like K is web or something like that, and then like make sure
Yeah, in this case you have
example.
to
It's like the other way around here, for
yeah,
example.
you have to negate it. Yeah.
But then, okay. But I think so this is also good if you know on the spot that you don't want this for web. But then if you don't know and you forget, for example, and you used it anyway, then maybe
Mm-hmm.
the best practice is try catch it, like wrap it with try catch to make sure you don't break your
You
application
don't right. Yeah,
in
yeah.
other platforms.
Actually, if I'm not wrong, if you open the get directory path or hover the mouse, you'll see the information regarding this. Uh, Let me see. If not, it's my mistake because yeah, I'm referring that some paths are protected, which is a very common question as well. It will be ignored. No, actually, I should add there as well instead of only on the wiki that web isn't supported. Yeah, that's a good
Sure.
addition to make there. So, but this is another common
Maybe you should
question.
add some comment here as well, like to
Yeah, yeah,
say
yeah,
this.
yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
in general, you did a great job. I see a lot of documentation also here, but I mean, the more you move your API to source code, the way it's easier for us as a developer to use it, right?
yeah,
So it would be much nicer to know about this in the
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
to the
Sure.
code. All right.
Yeah.
So shall we actually? Let me just remove this. Shall we just try see if what will happen here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we will open up my. Of course, it's empty. It's simulator for sure. Like, of course.
Yeah.
And then I will
And
remove and
but if you want
okay.
the on iOS, this is another thing to mention because I've been asked this as well. Android works differently than iOS. For example, iOS doesn't allow you to combine the gallery, the photo roll app with the files app. You can't do it. They don't have a native thing for that. So what happens is that if you want to pick files from the files app, you can use the custom or any, and you have your files there, and you can add the filters there and so on. But if you want to pick from the camera roll, or any other media file like a video from the camera roll, you need to use file type image or video, for example, or
Aha.
media.
Like here, I should just explicitly say image or
Yeah,
media. Like,
or media, for example. Yeah.
aha. Okay.
And
So then
that way
the
it
any
will,
here would not work in that case.
no.
Okay.
Any
Good.
will
Good to
always
know.
open the files app.
Okay. Good. All right. So let's actually give it a try. This directory that we also talked about, maybe a bit. Let's do this. I would just want to know if I now click, then okay. I can just select this directory and that will
Yeah.
definitely resolve something. So I can print actually. Let's have a look at the result quickly.
Yeah, sure. The result is a platform file, which have information regarding the picket files. This one is just a root
Okay.
file for the storage, for the phone
Yes,
storage in
sure.
this case. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so then this is actually returning only a string. Okay, I see.
No, it's actually returning a platform file. You can go. Sorry, you are
Well,
correct.
it
I was
says a
thought about
string.
files. No, it's correct. Yeah. I was thinking about picking files. You are picking
Oh
a,
no,
a
picking file.
directory.
Yeah, picking file is the returning file picker result, which
Yeah,
is a platform file for sure.
it
It's
has some
list of.
handy. Yeah,
Okay,
it has some ending information like a single pick or the count, which is the number of picket files. You can get a list of. You can guess the list of the names, and of course, you can iterate through each file if you want. And the platform file on its own has the information regarding each file.
okay. Well, here it says to getting the path of each file, then still it doesn't work on web. So it's still, I think it's a good practice to wrap it with try catch. So if you
Yeah.
mistakenly upload it there and you want to use that,
I remember that I had it somewhere. It's there. Yeah, actually,
sure.
saying that web spark
Good.
paths.
Okay, perfect. Good. Do you have any other tip or tricks or anything in particular that you want to tell us when you are using these method and packages? So I just noticed that this is simple. It's only 2, 3 methods and nothing else, and
Yeah,
that's very simple to
and
use.
it's
That's very cool.
yeah, this is one of the things that I aim with this package is to make it really simple and also trying to cover the most use cases as possible and also all the platforms. So it's a handy package because of course this is not a package that requires some UI elements and so widgets and so on. It's
Sure.
always it's just to make a connection to the file for you to pick and drop it somewhere and then manipulate it from there on. You can also combo this package with image picker if you want. For example, some people need to pick from camera files. On the early days, I had the camera, the image picker as a dependency as of this one. But then I thought the developer might not want this, and if he wants, he can add it manually to its application, to his application, and then use it from there. So
Okay.
actually, I don't have camera picks over here on this package, but you can always combo with the image picker or any other packages, of course. I think that the community, by creating small packages or not bloating a lot the package, can make the job easier for the developer. This
Absolutely.
is
I mean,
just
you should do one thing and
overall.
do it great, right?
Yeah,
So
I
the
think that's
mentality.
the best approach. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, good. Good, Miguel. So this is amazing. As you said, well, the API was very simple. You explained all the parameters, which is great. You gave us some tips and tricks, and I think it's good for everyone to know about that from your mouth. You are the author of this package, and I'm honored to talk to you, and you helped me to implement this package into my application and use it. And I saw it's very simple. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation to come and also explain about your package in depth and details. And I'm sure you have a lot of issues and probably PRs already on your repo. Please, the people or developer are watching, if you have any question or if you have anything go to Miguel's repo file picker, and also I put the link below. And also, if you haven't asked, if you have any question, ask. But sometimes try to search and find issues. Maybe there are some closed ones similar to yours, and help him by sending PRs and maybe answering questions to let's make this package even better. It's already awesome, but you know there's always
There's
room for
always
improvement. Yes,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
Very
No, I
good. Do
thank
you have
you.
any? Do
I
you have
thank you,
anything for
Majid.
the? Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
right now, no. Sorry, sorry. I'm the one that thanks you for inviting me for showing this package and also not showing but explaining a little bit more in person some of its features. And it's always good to have people like you interested in knowing a bit more, or even the community. And you are doing a great job by showing the people some packages and how they work, and also this face-to-face contact with the
Thank
owners
you.
of the packages. So it's
Thank you.
I
I think
thank you for
everyone
your
should
work.
know. I believe everyone should know the author of these awesome packages, and they should come to you and appreciate what you have done. You have
Yeah,
done a great job for the community. Thank you again, and thank you
you are
for
doing as well.
praising me.
Doing great. Yeah,
And also remember, you can always come back to this show and explain anything if you have more for our audiences. I will make sure that everyone in the community can see at least as much as I can promote it. So,
yeah.
very good. And then have a fantastic day.
And you too, Majid. You too. Thank you very much.